Senator Williams.
Thank you, Chair. And I rise just to make a brief contribution to this, and just want to put some facts on the record here, Chair. In opposition, my now leader, or my then leader as well, we're pretty consistent with our leaders in the National Party, Mr Warren Truss, chaired a committee chaired a committee which involved people like now Foreign Minister Julie Bishop and the recent Treasurer Joe Hockey. It was about this very issue of foreign investment, foreign ownership of land. I want to put on the record that I am certainly not against foreign investment. I'll give you an example, Chair. Chinese company Shanghai Zhongfu has won a bid to lease and develop Shanghai Zhongfu. Aren't you familiar with them? Develop 13,400 hectares of land in the north of the state. This refers to the River Ord scheme, where the state and federal governments, West Australian government and the federal government, spent some $500 million building the roads and irrigation channels, etc. Now, this Kimberley Agriculture Investment, an Australian company owned by Shanghai Zhongfu, is set to construct a $250 million sugar mill near Kununurra, where it plans to produce and harvest 4 million tonnes of cane a year and about 500,000 tonnes of export sugar crystal. Now, this is investment. It's real investment that grows production, grows jobs. I think there's going to be some 450 jobs up there, money for Aboriginal people. It grows exports, it grows GDP, it grows tax take for Canberra. It is an investment that actually grows our production of our country. And when this was announced, I didn't hear one National Party senator or MP complain about that one bit. It was a new investment, a growth in our country. It is when we have fully established farms and we simply sell them off. That's when I have a serious problem, because those farms are at peak production. They might be in the New England area where I live, and they might be grazing country that's well fenced into holistic grazing. It's been pasture improved, it's been fertilised, it's been watered well. And when we sell those farms like that, where does the profit go? I'll give an example. American super funds have been buying farms up in northern New South Wales. And I've asked the question to many people, tell me how when an American super fund buys our farm and that farm makes a profit, I'm well aware they don't make profits every year, I'm well aware of that, at a lifetime of that, that profit is taken back to America instead of being spent in the town of Inverell. How is that good for Inverell? And no one has ever answered the question. Now, when it comes to the register, I think this is a very good idea. In fact, Chair, it was Mr Rudd, the previous governor, who said he would establish a national register of our land. That's what he said, and of course what did he do? He did absolutely nothing. And so the register needs to be set up. It will be set up by the end of December. People who own foreign owners of land must register with the ATO by the end of December. So I want to make the point I distinguish between foreign investment and foreign takeover. Cubby Station. Cubby Station is at maximum peak production, maximum water allowance, maximum irrigation, maximum development. When the foreigners bought it, they can't increase production. It's already peaked. It's at its cap. They're not employing any more people, but they will take the profit out of that property when they make a profit on it. And if they've got water, they'll certainly do that. But I want to make a point. In the Australian, Senator Wong said, and I'll quote, "We'll move in the Senate to amend the legislation to remove the requirements for FIRB screening of investments in agri-businesses worth more than $55 million. Well, Senator Wong, it's currently at $37.8 million. That's what it is. If you want to buy a business in Australia, an agri-business or any business, the limit is $252 million. Above that's got to go to FIRB. But if you want to buy more than 15% of that $300 million business, then around 15% of $252 million is $37.8 million. So the level is actually $37.8 million now when some foreign company wants to buy into an agri-business or any business here. Once they get to $37.8 million, the 15%, it goes through FIRB. And this bill is saying for agri-businesses they might be worth $100 million. Well, if it's $55 million or more, a portion they wish to buy, it might be a $100 million business, and they want to buy 80%, $80 million worth. Well, that'll go through FIRB under these new regulations. So there'll actually be two criteria there. And so I want to make it clear, Chair, that I'm not against foreign investment so long as it increases jobs, increases production, increases exports, increases GDP, increases tax take for Canberra, then it's a win-win all the way through. And it's quite amazing We need a lot of investment in our housing industry. Well, we've got these regulations, especially in the cities, of course, all across Australia, that foreigners can't just free-for-all buy houses. We've had it where they can just buy farms. Why the difference? And that's what this bill does. The coalition working in opposition took this to the last election, that this would be put in place, this very criteria, to see that we actually monitor who owns our farms. We believe there's about 12% of our properties now foreign-owned, 12% of Australia. Qatar have made it perfectly clear they're buying prime land in Victoria. What for? To take food back to their country. I want to see us grow the food and sell the food to those countries and keep the profits here. People say, oh, you can't take the land with you. If they buy land, you can't take the land with you. No, you can't. But you can take what you grow on that land. Then you can even go down the road of transfer pricing and avoid the tax system. Ask Senator Heffernan about that. So we need to scrutinise. I think the real case we're facing, the real situation is by 2050 we're going to have more than 9 billion people on this planet. And the big issue is going to be food security. If you don't control your land, you don't control what you grow on that land, you lose control of your food supply. When we're going to feed over 9.3 billion people by 2050's estimation, food is going to be the big issue. We're seeing it now. Look at the price of cattle, look at the price of lambs, look at the price of mutton. It's magnificent, and finally bringing some good wealth back to those hard-working people in rural Australia who deserve. It's about the time they had their turn. They deserve to get a fair go, and it's good to see they're getting it now. So that's why I support this legislation. I thank Senator Whish-Wilson and others in the Green for getting behind it. I appreciate it very much, because I'm in a firm belief if we just have a willy-nilly sell off our farmland. Look at the other countries. Look at developing countries. Go to Thailand. You can't buy more than 49% of any business there. You only be a minor shareholder. Go to America. Who owns the land? America is controlled by the states in most respects. Many states say unless you're an American citizen, you cannot buy land. Or go across to New Zealand. 5 hectares. You want to buy more than 5 hectares? Got to go through their Foreign Investment Review Board. Or less, as Senator Xenophon says, if it's prime land by a river or whatever. So because we're tightening our actual control and monitoring of who owns our land, who's buying our land, some people seem to disagree with it. I encourage the foreign investment. They want to go up the top end, set up dams, clear country, develop it. I mean, when it comes to investment, I'll be keen to ask Senator Wong this, how they look at foreign investment in farms is about clearing country. Well, you're not allowed to clear country in New South Wales because in 1996 we had a bloke called Kimberley Maxwell-Yaden, the Minister in New South Wales Parliament, who brought in SEP 46 and the Native Vegetation Conservation Act. Who actually worked for him in those days? Well, it was Senator Wong, of course. So her history goes back what she thinks of Australian farmers, especially in New South Wales, where we'll curtail you from investing and growing your production, and if you knock a tree down the wrong spot, we'll fine you. That's what we've had, and thank goodness those changes are soon to be completed with the coalition government in New South Wales. So if you talk investment, often it's about clearing country and putting it into pasture, just like the Americans did, as Senator Back told me the other day. The Americans cleared and established the whole Esperance area. Sadly, there were some terrible fires there recently and 4 lives lost. They took scrub country, converted to good wheat and mixed farming country, sheep and cattle country as well, and very productive. That's investment. So we want all this investment. Then we can tell you you're not allowed to touch the land. You might breach some environmental plan. Quite ironic, isn't it, Chair? So that's my input, and I say I support investment where it grows jobs and grows exports and grows production and grows income and grows tax take for Canberra, when you simply buy our fully established farms that are at peak production, be looked after by generations of farmers in most cases who know the land better than anyone. When you sell off that land and your profits taken out of your country, how's that good for your local community? I fail to see that.